Guys, because I have a real damn problem, honestly, and I just want to know what everyone else thinks. Whose idea was it to work our lives away?
Well, I mean, this thing called life, and life said, "Hey, you want to eat? You need food. You need you're cold. Well, you need shelter, and these are like basic necessities that we need in life, right? It's something that we've always needed. Humans have always needed it, and we've always had to go to work in order to get these things. Now, I know today's economy, it's a little bit more difficult to get these things, but regardless if they were easy or not, we still have to go to work and get the things that we want. There's no way around it, right? Like, no one told us we have to do it. These are just like natural human instincts that we say, all right, in order to get these resources, I need to go to work, because guess what? No one else is going to do it for you. So it's a basic necessity that we all need as humans.
Like, I'm so mad. Why do I have to work the rest of my life to retire at 50, 60? If I live that long? Like, that's when I can enjoy life? Like, we go to school, preschool to 12th grade. Go to college for God knows how long. After college, you pray for that dream job, right?
Wrong. Okay, there's no dream job, right? There's no dream jobs out there. Obviously, I'm sure there's some people have good situations at their job, and they like what they do. But the whole dream job situation, man, look, that thing doesn't exist. You go to work because you have to go to work, right? For duty, right? You have to go to work because you need things. And I know a lot of people want to be able to go to work and then have fun. They want to be able to enjoy experience. But work is not fun. You know, work is not play. Like, most people don't enjoy working, right? People don't want to work. They work because obviously it's a responsibility in order to get the things. There's like no way around it. Like, you have to do these things, right? And I know people want that great situation at a job, but it's just rare that you find that, right? Most people just don't even want to. Like, if you ask most people, like they don't want to work, right? I mean, obviously they want to work and get things they need, but when it comes down to it, it's just like, they really don't want to have to go to work, man. They just want that situation where they could just chill and relax and get the things they need, but that's obviously not reality, right? So the whole dream job thing, man, I think it just doesn't exist, right? It just doesn't exist. I think people need to come to that realization that, yeah, when you talk about dream job, like when you're coming out of school and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get that dream job. When you face reality and you see, what, this dream job thing just really doesn't exist. So.
No. Well, yes, but like, you're there, you do this all day. Like, tired of doing that. I'm tired of working. Like.
Now, okay, all right. She's talking about working behind the desk, right? The computer. Like, I do this all day, right? Like, I'm working behind the computer. Like, is it the most entertaining thing? No. But you know what? There's a lot more stressful things you could do, right? Just go talk to construction workers, right? Coal miners, whatever you do. Very hard labor jobs, and they'll tell you, man, like, it's back-breaking work. You could be doing that, right? Nah, but I doubt you want to do that. Like, working behind a desk, behind a computer, trust me, man, that's a good situation for you. Maybe not be the most entertaining thing, most fun, but guess what, man? You could be out there in the sun, breaking your back in the inclement weather and doing the really hard work, right? So I think you gotta be grateful for the things that you're doing. If you don't like to do that, I mean, there's alternatives. You can find it, but like she just said, she's like, I don't want to work. That's the crux of the whole thing. She doesn't want to work, but I'm sure she wants money, right? So I don't know.
Oh my God, like, I'm so tempted, I'm so tempted, I'm so tempted, I'm so tempted. Why? My earring, oh my God. Why do I have to work, like, forever? Like, why can't I just be, like, why? Who, like, I'm stressed.
She's like, why? You heard her. She was like, why can I be like? She didn't finish her sentence, right? Well, be like what? Like, finish it. Be like what? Maybe I can make a suggestion. Being married, where a man can do that work, and then you could, do your thing at home, and you don't have to worry about that. Right? That's the situation you could have. But she didn't really finish a sentence. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like, why can't somebody else do the work, and then she can, obviously, be taken care of, whatever it is, whatever situation where she doesn't have to do the work. But obviously we live in an environment where, you know, everybody's working, man, woman, everybody's going to work, you know, and handling their own business, right? We used to have a situation where the man would go to work, take care of the stuff, and woman be in the home, and taking care of the home. But obviously that dynamic has changed. Now everybody's out there working, making money for themselves, and a lot of people are finding out that they don't want to have to work for the rest of their life, right? Well, then you got to create that situation for yourself. So, and that's the crazy thing, because I know a lot of people are talking about how they don't want to have to work for the rest of their life. Now, for me, I don't mind having to work for the rest of my life, right? And now let me say this, right? Obviously, I don't want to have to work as hard in my 60s, 70s, 80s as I, you know, was in my 20s, 30s, and in our 40s. Like, obviously, I don't want to have to work that hard, but I want to be able to have like some purpose where I'm actually working towards something while I'm working on something, especially like my business. I want to be able to work on my business until it's time for me to leave this earth. And I think it's important for a lot of people, because I think I've read somewhere or I've heard from other people where they talk about how people retire and then like 5 years later they're gone, right? Because they have nothing to do. Like, people just want to go retire and just like relax on the beach or whatever it is. But for a lot of people, like from what I hear, it's like, you know, after retirement, like within 5 years, they're gone because they have no purpose. They're not doing anything. So for me, like, obviously when it comes to work, I don't mind working till it's time for me to go, as long as I'm working on something that's bringing me purpose. And like I said, of course you don't want to have to be working. If you're someone that's in construction, obviously you don't want to be doing that until your you know, late 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? You want to be able to work less, right? Not have to work have to work as much and break, you know, much labor jobs. And obviously you got to set your situation up for yourself when it comes to your retirement fund, making sure that you set yourself up for retirement where you can pull money aside every year and make sure that you of course, if you want to work, like you want to work, but you don't have to work, right? I think that's the situation that I think a lot of people are looking for, because you want to stay busy. You want to stay busy as long as you can until it's time for you to go. But you don't want to just be there where you're just doing nothing. You're at home all day and you have nothing to do. Like I said, you know, within 5 years of retirement, they say that people go, and you don't want that. You want to make sure you're keeping busy. So yeah, so that's the situation you want to set up for yourself. All right, so I got another video, and she's talking about how she, you know, the same situation of having to work for the rest of their life. So let's see where she's at.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did we all just blindly sign up for the 40-40-40 plan, where we work for 40 years for 40 hours a week and then retire on 40% of our pay, and we have no freedom and flexibility, but we live in the digital age and most of us could potentially work from home, but they still insist that now we go back to the office?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're working for somebody, then obviously you're not going to have the control, that flexibility, because you're working for someone. Then you have, in that situation, you got to create that flexibility yourself, right? And you just can't get that from. Obviously, you want to work from home, and obviously you want the flexibility. But when you're working for someone else, it's hard to get that, right? You're not in control. So therefore, obviously, I would recommend that you create something of your own. Right? While you're working your job, start something on the side so then you can eventually have more control over your time, right? This is something I've always wanted, especially when I got out of college. I was like, you know, I don't want to work for somebody for the rest of my life. So let me try to create a situation where I can remove myself from work from an employer, and then I can create my own time and create my own flexibility. Because that's one of the best ways to do it. That's one of the only ways to do it, unless you have a really good job that allows you that. But most jobs probably don't. And I think for a lot of people, you can see that it's just stressful not being able to really like control that, have that control where you can have that flexibility and take time off. But when you work for somebody else, you really don't have that. And that's just the way it is. Like, that's just reality, right? You can't just be like, hey, employer, I need XYZ time. I mean, look at that. What's the point of that? That you can't control that. You can fight for that all you want. And of course, a lot of people have done that, but you really don't have that control. So instead of like really working so hard towards that, try to create something of your own so you can create that flexibility for yourself.
Do we think that stress and anxiety and being overworked with no work-life balance is actually normal? And it's like okay to have your vacation limited to 2 or 4 weeks a year? And we spend all of our time doing something that we don't love around people that we don't like? What are we doing?
It's called work. That's what you're doing. You're working, right? We do this all the time. Everyone does it. You go to work. You do something that you don't like. You do it because you have to, and you're around people that you don't like, but you do it because you have to. You got to work, right? This is the dynamic that we live in this world, right? We need food. We have to make money, right? In order to make money, we have to work, and this is the situation. And I know for a lot of people, it's hard to really like deal with that, and they want that the fact that the idea they have to work for 40 years for the rest of their life is just it's such a draining process. But I mean, this is not something new. Like, if you go back years, decades, centuries, everyone has always worked, right? They've worked and they've worked and they've worked until they can't work anymore. And that's just life, right? I don't know any other way around that unless you create a great situation, a nice business where you're removing time, you're removing yourself from having to work that labor, but you have to create that for yourself. And guess what? It requires work. It's not something that just is handed to you unless you have like a rich family. You have to create that dynamic. So those are my thoughts. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button and share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so you guys take care and have a good one. Later.